What's up, everybody? We're back with part 3 of this video series, and today we're actually going to be starting 3D printing this Iron Man helmet. So, in this video, I'm going to go over everything from a good 3D printer to buy, where to buy it, good print settings, and a good slicer to use. And yeah, let's get started. So, the first order of business is getting your hands on a 3D printer. The 3D printer that I'm using for this is the Ender 3 Pro. But if you go online and you search up where to buy an Ender 3 Pro, you'll notice that Creality, the one who created the Ender 3 Pro, isn't actually selling the Ender 3 Pro anymore. But I say it's a really good printer. They shouldn't have done that. So what I would recommend is going over to Facebook Marketplace, searching up Ender 3 Pro, and just picking up one for 100 bucks. This is way cheaper than any other 3D printer you're ever going to get, and it's pretty worth it as well. See, all these are like 100 bucks each. And yeah, this is the exact printer that I have and the one that I'll be using. So, next order of business is exporting your file as an STL. And what you're going to want to do is select all the bodies that aren't the faceplate, because right now we're going to be starting with the faceplate, and just select all of them with shift and clicking, and then press V to hide it. Or alternatively, you could select all of them and right click and click the show/hide button here. And yeah, now you just have the faceplate. So what you're going to want to do is go up here to the file button, click export, and then name it whatever you want. And you're going to want to scroll down. You don't want to do Autodesk Fusion archive files. You want to scroll down to STL files. That's how it's going to be able to be in your 3D printer or in your slicer. So yeah, I've already actually gone ahead and exported this earlier, so I'm just going to use that file. Now the next order of business is to get yourself a slicer. I personally love Ultimaker Kira. It's a great slicer. Nothing has ever been wrong with it. I'll throw a link down in the description of where to get that. So basically just search up Ultimaker Kira download. That's going to be the first link that pops up, and you can hit the download for free button. I'm not going to go over that. It's pretty simple. There's a lot of tutorials out there. So yeah. And then the next step is to select your printer. Mine is the Creality Ender 3 Pro, and I will automatically do the other settings right here. But what you're going to want to change are these settings over here. So the higher quality you go, the longer the print is going to take. And I don't want the print to take 4 days, so I'm going to go the lowest quality. And yeah, the lowest quality will automatically fill out these quality settings. And if you can't find this page, by the way, go over here. This is what it's going to show at first. And what you're going to want to do is go to custom. And then you can follow along with me. So the layer height and all this stuff is going to be automatic. And then the other settings that you're going to want to worry about are the infill. So the infill is going to be like the strength of your build, basically. I think I want to go up to 50% just so it doesn't break on me. But we'll see what the time is with 50% versus 20%. And then once you do the infill, it'll kind of automatically fill all these out. And grid is usually the fastest and the most rigid kind of. So I kind of leave it as grid for the infill pattern. And for the material, you actually have to change this. So based on your material. So one of the best materials is the Esun filament. I wouldn't buy it from the Esun store. I would actually buy it from Amazon.com straight up. And what you're going to want for this is the yellow filament. Looks good. And yeah, right now it's actually 22% off. There's a lot of deals on this usually. And yeah, this is the best filament I've ever used. And it's also the cheapest. Well, relatively cheap for how good it is. But this is going to start at 200 degrees Celsius. You do not want to print at 200 degrees Celsius. You actually want to print at 215. And then it'll just kind of I didn't know this at first when I bought my 3D printer, and I was really struggling. None of the prints were working, they were all failing. So yeah, you just want to do 215 degrees Celsius, and then it'll autofill all these. And for supports, you want to do tree supports, not normal. That takes way longer and it's harder to take off. And you definitely want to click this generate support button. If there's no supports, your print's not going to work at all. And then keep scrolling down. Build plate adhesion. I like to do skirt because brim, in my opinion, is way harder to take off, and I have no idea what raft is, honestly. And yeah, those are all the settings. So now the next step is to get your file in there. So you're just going to click this file button up here, and then click on your Iron Man faceplate. And as you can see, it doesn't think it can fit into the printer, but we are going to fix that, not by scaling it or anything, but we're actually going to angle it. I'm going to angle it about 60 degrees, I think, and then move it up and to the left. And yeah, boom, that fits. Now with all your print settings and stuff, you're going to want to slice it. Slicing it is basically just the computer calculating the ports and all that stuff and turning it into G code, which is how the printer will actually um, read how the printer essentially translates the 3D file into actual movements so that it can print it. And yeah, the other thing that you're going to want to get your hands on, if you have the Ender 3 Pro card, is a USB to micro SD card adapter. Just one of these things. You can buy any of these on Amazon, or if you already have one, or if you have just something that can plug into your computer. Some computers have it, some computers don't. Mine doesn't. It only has USB, so I needed one of these. And yeah, so once you have that, you can go ahead and plug it into your computer, and you can take out the micro SD from uh so you can take out the micro SD from your 3D printer, plug it into your USB flash drive adapter, and then you can go ahead and plug it into your computer like I just did right there. And what you're going to want to do is export it to the flash drive. You can go ahead and hit preview on this just to see what it looks like. That is a lot of filament, but that's okay. It's going to take a day and 4 hours, which is absolutely insane. This is one of the longest prints I've ever done, but that's because I have a small printer and I can't just lay it down flat. Otherwise, it would take probably 12 to 15 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and save to the removable drive. It's taking a while. Wow. And now I'm going to hit eject, and then I'm going to throw it over on the printer. All right, so I did actually change the design just a little bit. I went ahead and added this component from another design that I have that I actually found on Thingiverse, which is a 3D modeling website that has a bunch of free models that you can grab. And yeah, I kind of just added it to the faceplate and also to the rest of the helmet. And essentially what it does is it will be part of the helmet that the servo attaches to so it can open and close. So yeah, if I show hide all of these, you can also see that this is attached right there. So yeah, that's that. And something else that I did, I didn't really like the way that this part of it looked. Where did that go? What is hidden? There we go. I didn't really like the way that this back part of it looked. It looked a little rounded. It was kind of just sticking out weird when it all got combined. So I just went ahead and kind of turned it into more of a polygon. Not that I wanted that. I mean, a curve is ideal, but it does look better. I kind of just sectioned this part off and this part, and then re-thickened it and all that stuff. So yeah, it's really up to you if you want to add this into your design or not. I personally want to because attaching it in real life was pretty hard, but you can always just screw it in or use tape. But yeah, that's that. It's the same steps as before to print this. Just export it and put it on your printer. Yeah. Okay, and now that we have exported the faceplate, it's time to export the other stuff. Obviously, we got pretty lucky, honestly, with the faceplate fitting on the printer, but obviously all this other stuff is not going to fit on the printer. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it up into multiple parts. Let's get rid of the faceplate, get rid of this, and then I kind of like moved around the body so that it was easier for me to see what was what. So I'm just going to get rid of almost all of this side. Yeah, looks good. Let me get rid of some of this stuff just down there. And yeah, that looks about perfect, except I want this side or this part of the other side to be on there. So I'm just going to find that wherever it is. So these two, looks good. And that. Alright, yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Now you're just going to want to do the same thing. Go over to File, Export, scroll down to STL, and hit Export. I've already exported it. It is this one, I believe. Nope, not that one. It's this one. So once you get it to the file, you're going to want to go ahead and angle it kind of like I do on this printer. And yeah. And then for the next one, what you're going to want to do is show hide all this stuff. It's basically just showing all the stuff that is different. You know. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now you would export this to the Kira slicer. And the way that we're going to combine these is in the next video, we're going to use 3D welding. But yeah, this is that. I would just angle it exactly like this so it fits on the printer. Yeah, and then for the next, whoops, for the next one, what you're going to want to do is hide that. Hide all this. And then show this bottom piece. And unfortunately, when we print this bottom piece, it can only be in one color on my printer. So it's going to have to all be red, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Alright, that is the bottom piece shown, I believe. Yeah, now you're just going to want to export this the same way and angle it like that for the most efficient way possible, and also for it to be kind of printing on the inside so the outside is more smooth, you know. But yeah, that is the print. Alright, now. Alright, this is the micro SD adapter I was talking about. So once you unplug it from your computer, you're just going to want to take it and bring it over to your 3D printer. And then if you have the same 3D printer as me, you're going to want to plug it in upside down into this little slot right here. And then, oh, that didn't work. There we go. And then today we are actually going to be changing the filament to our red filament. So let me get that all ready. Okay, so this is what the new box of Esun filament looks like. Let me get this open. Where's the opening for it? Oh, whoops. There we go. So this is what the new box of Esun filament looks like. This comes something like this. And just poke a hole in it. And you can't. There we go. Poke a hole in it. Just open it up. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Comes like this, brand new. And then to change out the filament, if you already have some in there, you know, when you come over here, click, go to prepare by scrolling, and then go to preheat PLA. And then you're gonna wanna wait for that to preheat. I already started it earlier, so it should be there in a second. Okay, once it reaches 185 degrees, it's gonna be ready. So you're gonna go to prepare again, and then change filament, and it's gonna beep at you. You see here, but it's going to unload the filament with its little motor right here. You can see that's moving, and once it starts to beep, yep, you can go ahead and do this pincher and pull on the filament at the same time. And I'll try to show that. Okay, I'm not even able to show it, but I'll be back when I've done it. Alright, now that you have this out of here, you're going to want to take this off, this spool off, and just set it wherever. This is another project I'm working on for you guys. And then you want to take your other spool of filament and your other spool and just throw it on there. Okay. Now you want to take this part out, kind of like this. Jeez. There we go, got it. And what you're going to want to do is use some pliers and cut the end off of this. Okay, now you've cut it at an angle, you're going to press this button again and wait for the thing to heat again. And what you want to do is feed it in here like this, and you want to press this again at the same time as you're putting it in there. That part can be a little tricky, but once you have it in there, you're going to want to push it until it comes all the way over here and hits the extruder and stops. And if you're having trouble getting it into this part, I would recommend just recutting it at an angle. And yeah, just keep recutting it at an angle until it works, because the biggest problem with that is that you don't cut it at an angle and then you get screwed. Okay, now it says insert filament and press button continue. We just inserted the filament, so let's press the button. And now the motor should move and it should start extruding like this. It's going to be white at first because I had white filament in there before, but now it's kind of slowly turning to red, and now it's fully red. And yeah, and as you can see, I have some blue tape on here. That is just because I don't want to mess up the bed, because those are very, very expensive, and I do not like it getting messed up, because I do not want to buy another one. So yeah, I don't know why the tape isn't really sticking today, but yeah, it looks good. Now that it's almost all the way extruded, you can kind of just pull this out once it beeps at you again. There you go. And click resume print. And now you're going to want to print your Iron Man mask. You want to initiate the card, put a print from TF, and click print new faceplate. And I actually just realized that I put the wrong color in there. I want it to be yellow, not red, so let me fix that. Okay guys, now I have the yellow filament in there. So what you're going to want to do to start the print is print from TF, and just click on the Iron Man faceplate. There's a few things I want to add before I do this. So I will come back another day and start this print, but for you guys, you can start it. It's about halfway done. Alright, the print is finished. Now you can just go ahead and peel off the build plate if you have the same printer as me. And just peel this off. And then you want to go ahead and take off the supports just by peeling it, and I'll be back when I've done that. Alright, we got all the supports off. Now it's just the mask.
That looks pretty damn good. Now let's slice the rest of the helmet up.
Alright, all the pieces are done, supports are taken off. This is the face mask piece, this is the right helmet piece, this is the left helmet piece, and this is the chin piece. And yeah, in the next video I'm going to show you how to solder and put them all together. Thanks for watching. Bye.